reasons why I stay out of jail, and I'm gonna pinpoint some major issues. One of the main reasons is you will be scolded by women. Yeah, yeah, that's right. When I used to get in trouble, one of the main things I saw more than anything was women. They go to the courthouse full of women. Judge woman, lawyer was a woman, the counselor was a woman, the freaking COs were women. They just put you around a whole bunch of women, and these women are having a field day with your man masculinity. And we, the gods that we are, they love to make us feel small in this world. So here's a parole hearing right now where it says he completely loses it when she speaks out as his parole hearing. And I want you to hear the parole officer, which is a woman, of course. And I got nothing against women. I love all women. But why don't y'all talk this way to women? Why are y'all always in a position to belittle a man? If it was a man doing it the other way, the world would come after you and you'd lose your job. But when it comes to a woman scolding, belittling a man, you can hear it in the tone of your voice. And tone matters. Because if you was to do the wrong tone to a president or a king or a cop, you'll find out real quick that that tone does matter. But when it comes to a man, if he's not in a position of power, you seem to have be tone deaf for some strange reason. So let's listen to this real quick. He's at a parole hearing trying to get out, and of course they're gonna put him around a whole bunch of women because they don't want favoritism. They want the opposite of favoritism, whatever that's called. So watch this.
Can't change anything. Absolutely. Well, you can once you're level-headed. I think you just walk away, cool off. Right. Exactly. You go to your corners and come back and then have that discussion. However, in your case with this victim, um, you continued contacting her on the phone. If my memory serves me correctly, you saw her at the Stop and Shop, and then you called her, and so you weren't physically in her presence when you were making those telephone calls to her. So how does that apply, like to what you've learned? Apply what you've learned to that situation. That I think.
I gotta pause it real quick. You can hear the tone in her voice that she's already against you. You can feel when somebody's against you off the rip. It's the tone. How you doing? How you doing, sir? There's a different tone on. Okay, it's such a manly, masculine tone that she's pushing on another man. You gotta love it.
100% responsibility for it because I should have just
Be single.
Well, somehow got an attorney, but
a man, hopefully.
An attorney for what? Like I told you, when I went to work, all the accounts were drained, the locks were changed on the house we owned together, and I was like, my head was spinning. Mm-hmm. And then I went home, I grabbed some clothes, and I left. And then I called. I says, I need some more clothes and a spare key to my truck. Please leave it at the mailbox, huh? And there was nothing. There was no restraining orders, nothing. So she put the key out there, but no clothes. And I only grabbed a couple clothes. I was like running around. My apartment in Bristol was destroyed from the person I rented it to. I mean, I have severe depression. And
oh, my bad. This is from the Mandoo channel. Mandoo. Okay, that's the Mandoo channel. He does parole hearings, a lot of Connecticut parole hearings. You'll get to see these people try to convince women, men trying to convince women why they should be back on the streets. But let's carry on with the belittling of a man.
So, Mr. Trivity. That went both ways. I mean, she was contacting me, I was contacting her. Mr. Trivity, yes. When there is a protective order in place, what does that mean?
This is really like he's a lawyer. He knows that he don't know none of this. He just knows what you need to do is just be single, brother.
That means to not contact the person or go around them. Exactly. And so this is not your first time
am saying protective orders being in place
Violent.
or restraining orders being in place. This is something that has happened over the years. The first one that I see actually, 1894, where you had a protective order in place and you violated it.
Yes.
So I'm not understanding what is it that
What he should have said was, I'm just going to be single for the rest of my life. Get me a dog, some cats, some frogs, and live my life. He still has this notion that there's for happily ever after with these women. No. You do one thing wrong, change your tone, and you'll be sitting here looking like Boo Boo the Fool trying to explain yourself to a woman whose tone you already know she's going to deny you. I would have been like, can I go back to my cell, please? I'll do my time and just get out of here and be single. You're already single in prison. That's why you're not getting in trouble.
you need to do to stay away from these women once they say they don't want to be involved with you anymore?
See,
He don't get it.
this is hard to explain because
Yes, 'cause it's a woman.
I wanted to leave.
We're not talking about
See?
this victim. We're talking
Oh,
about
wow.
your behavior in general.
In the past, that's why I stopped drinking. My alcohol caused a lot of problems in my life.
Another thing, and that's when a lot of people take advantage of men. When they're drunk, let me just explain this real quick. When they're drunk, you can be with a girl, right? You argue a lot, but say she's drunk and you're drunk. You know, she'll wait right until you're nice and drunk to call the cops on you to get you in worse trouble. But he's not going to call the cops on her. See, it's crazy out here. Just watch.
2012.
I'm going to stop you. I'm
See,
going to
of course
stop you
you
there.
are.
I understand that alcohol played a role.
No, you
But
don't.
it looks as
But-
if, according to my record,
When everybody says but after a sentence, disregard everything they said.
that you dropped the alcohol and picked up the crack. Did you think your behavior was going to change with a different substance?
No, I was doing very well in life. I had 2 operations the winter this all took place. We were doing very well. I just didn't want to live in Torrington because of my history there. I lived in Bristol for 5 years. And I did
You're getting off track.
phenomenal. I stayed away from Torrington.
When was the last time you did crack?
When I jumped off the wall.
And when was that?
September. I think I don't know, September.
September of what
I
year?
was so depressed. I was suicidal. I jumped off the wall.
September of what, Mr. Trigg?
He just said he was suicidal, and she's disregarding that he's even saying that. That's why you really can't talk to a woman. If it was another woman saying that, she'd have been like, "Aw, are you getting the help you need?" The tone would have been different.
We ask very specific questions, and many of them are sometimes yes or no.
I would have been like, "Can we start over?" First of all, your tone already tells me that I'm not going home.
And other times we ask questions because we really are genuinely concerned about honing in on your responses
Scolding men.
with regard to change in behaviors, change in the way that you're thinking. So I understand that you want to try to explain yourself, but we've read your file. That's one of the things that we're challenging.
Isn't that why he's there, to explain himself? You see, this is why he needs to talk to a man.
We're statutorily required to do. So we
Statutorily.
understand your upbringing. We know the relationship and the dynamics between you
No, you
and
don't.
this lady who's your
Those are
victim.
words.
But
on
I'm
paper.
specifically asking you about your substance abuse. When was the last time that you used crack cocaine? September when?
I don't know. I don't put a
Whatever
calendar.
day it was, I jumped off the wall. I don't know what day
Like,
it was.
seriously.
It
I
was
didn't say
September.
the year. I didn't say the day, the year. September what?
It was September 4th at 12 o'clock a.m. I think it was, the sun was beaming. It was a perfect 12 o'clock.
When did I come in here? 21, 22, 22?
So that was less than that was all a little over a year ago. So you were using crack at the time.
You hear her tone and you hear the words she's using. Oh, that was less than. She's diminishing. She's numbing the fact that it was 2 years ago. That's 700 days. That's a lot. Some people are not even going to live that long.
Time. that you were committing these offenses, is what I was trying to get.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't a crack. I'm not a crackhead.
Wow. Say that
I
again.
was.
Crack at the time that you were committing these offenses, is what I was trying to get.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't a crack. I'm not a crackhead.
First of all, if you're using crack, you're a crackhead. Unfortunately.
I was
Who
in.
said that?
Well, no, I don't know what's going on here. Yes,
You know what's going on.
I'm not a crackhead. I was
Who
in.
said that?
Well, no, I don't know what's going on here. Yes,
Yo, he's discombobulated because he's talking to a female and he's been locked up around men for freaking maybe 2 years around a lot of men, and now he has to talk to the opposite sex, and it's discombobulating him. You know what I mean? Maybe he doesn't do well talking to women. You should have put a man in there. He would explain himself.
You
I was severely depressed. I had operations.
She don't care.
I was taking pain pills. I was getting suicide. I feel like I'm being, I don't know.
You know what you're being.
I'm asking you, you said that you've been free from alcohol, sir,
Yes,
since 2012.
yes.
And I made the statement, it looks as if you put the alcohol down and picked up the cocaine and the crack habit.
No, absolutely
And you
not.
said you didn't. So I went on to say, when was the last time that
I
you
used it once the day I jumped off the wall. I wanted to kill
And
myself.
that was in September of 2022. So
Yes.
if that was the case, then that means that when you were committing these offenses in 2022 against this victim, you were using drugs.
No, I did that the day I jumped off the wall.
So you only did it one time.
The day I wanted to kill myself.
You only used.
Yes, I'm telling you, I did it the day I jumped off the
Just
wall.
said it
You
5
only
times.
used it one time.
Yes.
So why does your file read as though you struggled with substance abuse for a
Alcohol.
number of years?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. He told you that already,
But
lady.
you just said you stopped using alcohol in 2012, and then you
Yes.
gradually started using cocaine.
No, I
and
never
then the
said I
cocaine
gradually
you-
started using. No, I never said I gradually started using cocaine.
So, go ahead, wait, so in August 2022, you had an assessment at the Bristol Hospital, and one of the questions, your response to one of
Now hold on. This is a different woman. I want to hear her tone now.
the questions was, and this is in quotes, cocaine use at least 3 times a week, with your last use being 1 gram last night. So when I read that statement, I have to agree with the chair that it appears that you were using crack cocaine 3 times a week, at least prior to this August 2022 assessment.
I went there and told them all kinds of stuff. I became suicidal over this whole situation.
Sir, Mr. Trivedy, I'm going to ask you to refrain from discussing your personal health ailments, only because this video is being live streamed to the whole
Okay.
world. So whoever wants
Okay.
to look at it or look it up, just we want to protect your privacy to some degree.
Well,
So,
there's nothing. I have nothing to hide.
well, okay, that's your choice. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So back to my line of questioning. It sounds as if your mouth is saying that you've accepted full responsibility, but you're in this next breath, you're minimizing the role that you played in these offenses.
I wanted to leave a situation I wasn't happy in. I don't.
But that does not negate your contacting the victim. It says you called her like 11 times. I mean, you showed up at the house screaming and yelling at her.
She called me the day.
Sir. Not only did you try to get into her house, you were outside screaming absurdities in front of the house for her to let you in, and she had to contact the police. Not only that, sir, you had a
He did say he was drinking. That's what you do when you drink, probably. You know what I mean?
history of these kinds of behaviors. And I want to suggest that you find a therapist or someone to speak with regarding your underlying
snap.
issues, because there's something going on. that you have not yet addressed that's causing you to behave in this manner. And until you get to the bottom of that, you're going to continue to find yourself in situations where your intimate partner relationships are violent, are toxic. I'm going to say that. You even told the parole officer that this lady said, if she can't have you, nobody can. Did I read that right?
She can't have me?
Yes. Like,
Yeah, she told me that when we first bought our house.
wow.
I can't be with you, I'd rather be dead. I changed my life, and I never in my life thought I'd get put in jail for wanting to leave somebody.
Well, it wasn't because you didn't
Welcome to
leave her,
America.
because you violated the protective order.
The day I met her at the store, she had called me. She was calling me, wanting to see me,
Okay,
and I
you
was,
should have contacted the police.
yes, I made the biggest mistake of my life by going to see her, hoping I could get some of my money in my pocket.
Sir, you contacted her that day. You contacted her in June. The protective order was already in place. You contacted her in August. You knew the protective order was in place. You had a bunch of charges that were knowledge, sir. That does not negate the point that's been contacting this victim. So you can't say that you never would have thought that you would have been in prison. When you violate a protective order, that's a serious, serious thing. Because many people in this victim, in your case, they lose their lives because people violate the protective orders. So here in this state, we take that very seriously. We absolutely do. And it looks like you violated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 restraining orders or protective orders. You violated them.
I also want to add that he's a Caucasian. They seem to, are very lenient on Caucasians. Because if I would have did this as a black man one time, I'd be 5 years in prison. But let's carry on. 7 times, 9 times, huh?
So you have to figure it out, sir. And I can go down the list. I look at your entire criminal history is big. So
I figured it out.
yeah, but
I was doing very well before. Her and I talked in depth about how we wanted to live our lives.
Yeah.
We weren't going to buy a big house. We weren't going to live towards it. We did and what did we do? We got a big house in towards it. I wasn't happy. I wanted to move back to my house in Bristol. This happened. Yes, I take full responsibility for meeting her at Stop and Shop. And there's nothing else I could do.
No, but you can do. It's not just the Stop and Shop. So you're not
Stay
listening.
single.
Okay, so Mr. Tierney, I really don't have any other questions for you.
Of course
I have
not.
to be honest with you and tell you that I really don't see any evidence of change. I'm glad that you did complete the domestic violence program, and you will definitely have to do it when you're out on special parole as well. So I really do hope that you don't find yourself in
Stay
this situation
single,
again.
boy.
Mr. Rodriguez, you have any questions?
Thank you. So
Finally, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. Finally, a man. Woohoo! Let's see if, but he's probably going. We'll see.
Contributing. So our challenge is that we need to figure out whether you're suitable for release or not, right?
Yes.
So what we need to hear from you is what changes have you made to give us the comfort of being able to do that. And what's happening today is that we're not hearing that.
To be honest with you, I came here expecting not to even get this. With everything that's happened in court and what's going on, I'm just trying to live a normal life. I lost my son the last time I was locked up. He died. That changed my life drastically.
Okay.
I just lost my nephew a couple weeks ago, and it's just nothing I do is good enough for anybody. I stay out of Fullerton because that's where I grew up, and a lot of bad things happened. I got out in 2016. I did phenomenal. That's why my childhood sweetheart got involved with me, because I was doing great. I changed my life. I did a complete 180, and
But then you got involved in this.
Because she's my childhood sweetheart. We got together, and because I was doing phenomenal. And we bought a house together. I wasn't happy.
I got all that earlier. You don't have to go back through that again.
Right, but I have a good job.
But hear me out for a second, please. We want to be able to hear what changes you've made. You've taken this domestic violence. You should be talking about what skills you've learned, how you've changed in your attitude. How you're going to do. You had 13 unsuccessful releases with this. I mean, those are the things that we have to consider, right? And we're not really hearing that
13 unsuccessful releases.
In fact, I agree with chairperson.
We can't get one.
A lot of other things. More like you're the victim than anybody else.
No,
I'm saying that's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing.
So I take full responsibility.
You haven't taken all your programming yet either.
I take full responsibility for my actions. That's what changed my life. When I was in jail in 2012, I took full responsibility. Nobody ever put me in jail. I put myself in jail.
But that's good to hear that you acknowledge that.
And as far as the restraining orders, I can't change that. I went and met her. She wanted to talk. I wanted to talk, and I went and met her like a dummy. And I wish I never did. I can't change that.
The problem is that it's not the first time that's happened, because that's one of the issues for us. But that's not the first time. It's a decision that you
Let's
made.
fast forward a little bit.
And harassed me by driving in circles in the parking lot,
Hold up. Let's rewind it.
cocaine, alcohol, and before I knew it, he was disappearing for days, going on crack binges. When he did decide to come home, he was verbally and emotionally abusive to me. I finally had to begin taking medication myself just to get out of bed and go to work every day as a nurse because my anxiety was paralyzing.
Really?
When I finally found the courage to ask him to leave, he came to my workplace and harassed me by driving in circles in the parking lot and revving his engine, and the police had to be called. He told me that if I didn't deposit $5,000 into his bank account, he would come after me. So of course I did this. 1 week after he moved out, he came to my home late at night and tried to break in while I was home, all while yelling at me that he was going to get in and kill me. That's when I finally called the police. I was afraid of him, and I still am. Alan never physically abused me, but he punched holes in doors, threw objects at me, and even whipped his belt at my head, buckled in, and got in my face, screaming at me and threatening me more times than I can count. I knew it was only a matter of time before the physical abuse happened. To say that I gave him thousands of dollars over a period of 5 years would be an understatement. He stole money from me for his drug use, and he coerced me under duress to add his name onto the deed and mortgage of my house. Alan and his sister are demanding money from me in order to get his name off of the deed. I've offered them a settlement, but they won't settle. I also have all of his property at my home. Is this his way of trying to still have some sort of control over me and have to deal with me when he is released? What kind of human being does this? I've had to move out of my own home several times when Alan was on the run from the police during the summer of 2022, and I had a restraining order against him. My children really come to visit me because of fear. Alan even had the audacity to cut his ankle monitor off when he walked out of the courthouse and missed one of his hearings. He also threatened me in the courthouse another day. He walked out, got on his motorcycle, and left. Yet another time he was on the run. I knew that I had to escape his abuse, but I was afraid of him and the control that he had over me. He destroyed my self-worth and my self-esteem to the point that I actually began to believe the awful things that he was saying to me were true. I can go on and on about how Alan's abuse has affected my life, but the fact is that I'm trying to put it all behind me. I've been in therapy to deal with the PTSD that he caused. I am trying to move forward and rebuilding my life. I feel that the fact that the judge served Alan with a 25-year protective order for me speaks volumes, and Alan should not be released early from prison. I also believe that his criminal history should certainly be taken into consideration. I am sick thinking that he could be released in the next few months and have had many sleepless nights since being notified of this hearing. Alan apparently has done well while in prison, but that is only because he is in a lawful, controlled, and locked environment. Alan does not know how to treat women, and there will be another victim down the road.
Sir, I apologize, Mrs. Williams. Sir, please don't do that. That's very disrespectful. Please.
Listen to that's disrespectful.
Listen. Go ahead, Mrs. Williams. I apologize.
Thank you. Alan does not know how to treat women, and there will be another victim down the road, if not me again. He is a dangerous man, and I will feel for my life whenever he is released. I ask that Alan is not released early from prison and that he serves the maximum time. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mrs. Williams. Thank you.
Wow, this man should have had a lawyer in there. Like, wow. Woo! And then you start laughing at the victim. You're not that bright, buddy. Wow, let's rewind that again. He started laughing. Never
Sir,
do this,
I
guys.
apologize, Mrs. Williams. Sir, please don't do that. That's very disrespectful. Please.
Listen to that's disrespectful.
Listen. Go ahead, Mrs. Williams. I apologize.
Thank you. Alan does not know how to treat women, and there will be another victim down the road, if not me again. He is a dangerous man, and I will feel for my life whenever he is released. I ask that Alan is not released early from prison and that he serves the maximum time. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mrs. Williams. Thank you. I appreciate that impact from the victim. So at this time, Mr. Trivide, we're going to discuss your request for discretionary parole. Please don't interrupt.
Denied.
Thank you. Although Mr. Trivide says that he has changed, and I'm sure that he has
Denied.
in his own head, but I don't know him personally, so I cannot just take his word for it. To his
Don't know
credit,
any
he
of
did
these
complete the
people.
domestic violence program. He was not really able to share very much about what he learned, but two things that I thought that were insightful was that he can't control anyone, and that when he sees red flags, he should leave. So I'm hoping that he's able to apply at least those two tools to his next relationship. The cons for me are that at 55 years old, Mr. Trivide rates out very high. He's had, it looks like, 17 opportunities for supervision out in the community, and he failed 13 of those. He has not received any disciplinary infractions during this period of incarceration, so that does show some growth. However, the fact that his responses to our questions yielded really no evidence of change. And you couple that with his criminal history and his continued disregard for protective orders, with the injury and impact that the victim had shared with us through her statement that was read on the record, I could not support his request for discretionary parole. I would vote to deny his request with no new hearing date and set his special parole.
We already know he was gonna get denied, guys. We don't even gotta watch it no more. I just want to say a couple things. He should have went in there saying I'm gonna stay single for the rest of my life. Honestly, like me, I used to get in trouble too because they lie, they call the cops. Never put my hands, and they still would lie and say I'm scared. Literally, the moment I started being single, I'm not on probation, I'm not on parole, I'm not on anything. You know why? Because I stopped being in relationships. They are weaponizing domestic violence at the highest level. And there are some crazy people out there who really hurt people. So this is no disrespect to victims. I'm just being honest on my point of view. For some strange reason, you can't even get loud with a woman. You end up in handcuffs. And then while you're in handcuffs, if you try to go to parole, you got to deal with these type of people. So my advice to most men out there is get your life together, get your money up, take care of your kids. Stop trying to be in these relationships because you're going to end up incarcerated and scolded by a whole bunch of women that you're the worst man on earth, okay? That's just real talk. I don't know how to say it any better than that. You know, let's say a little bit more.
Conditions. Oh, and I didn't even address his substance abuse problems that he says that he doesn't have, that he didn't take any full writing to address. So for those reasons, I will deny. Mr. Rodriguez.
Actually, I would concur with your assessment of this particular situation. As I shared with Mr. Kavadi earlier, that I didn't really hear anything that for me made him a suitable candidate for release today. Granted, he did take domestic violence. Of course, I'm hoping that he'll be able to internalize some of the insights he got there and be able to utilize those things when he does get out, and probably should continue to seek some of that advice and information when he does get out. I'm sure we'll probably consider as part of a special parole release, but I'm just not there today to support discretionary parole.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Ms. Palmer?
So I do agree with everything that's been said by you, Madam Chair, and Mr. Rodriguez. I do think it is worth mentioning that Mr. Trinidad did have a pretty lengthy period of time where he wasn't involved with the criminal justice system. So I find that encouraging in the sense that once he is back out, like special parole, that then he can be successful. And he seems to have done that by avoiding alcohol and drugs.
He can be successful by stop trying to be in relationships. Stop trying to be in relationships. That's the worst drug. That's worse than alcohol. That's worse than the crack he was using. Trying to be in a relationship and they don't want to be there. You gotta walk away. Get your life together. You had a nice house. You should have got your own little studio apartment. If you have kids, go take care of your kids. And keep it moving, man. Keep it pushing. Keep pushing peace in your life. Just today, I was about to rent out one of my rooms in my houses. And a lady called, and I'm really not trying to live with a female. And I thought about it. I said, okay. And again, she put me through the runaround. She wanted me to go pick her up. I'm just the tenant. Why would you want me to go pick you up from a whole nother town? I already knew headaches. You didn't even get into the apartment yet, and you're a headache. No, I do not want to live with a woman. I'm single, and I think I'm going to get a man as a roommate, unfortunately, because you're not even my girl, and you're giving me headaches. Imagine you was my girl. So a lot of people out there, this is a public service announcement. Men, stop trying to be in these relationships. If they don't work, get your own place. Keep it moving. Work your job, get your money. You know what I mean? Find you a friend or cousin to hang out with maybe. Stay to yourself, because you'll be incarcerated looking like Boo Boo the Fool like this guy. All right? It's crazy, man.
He did get a letter of support from his sister, which was in file. He does have some support in the community, I think, which is also a positive for when he is that he does have some family that he can lean on as he reestablishes himself. But it is unfortunate. He was able to identify some areas that he learned through the domestic violence triggers. Wait a minute, but he was not present as, although he says he accepts responsibility. And we read all police reports that he just can't seem to grasp the gravity of the situation. And with his history, it's hard to even kind of say, well, we'll bring him back for another hearing, because
another thing is Connecticut is a woman's state. I moved to California with my child's mother before she had the baby. She ran out of California. We had an argument one day. The police came. They separated us. They respected me. We went our separate ways. Same thing happened in Connecticut, and I was in handcuffs. So in Connecticut, if you even argue with your significant other, they're gonna put you on a domestic violence case, and you're gonna look like Boo Boo the Fool, and you'll go to court for 3, 4 years trying to plead this case off. 4 years you can go to court. 3, 4 years they'll have you in court every month, looking like Boo Boo the Fool, all because you argued with a female. Stop trying to make the relationship work. Stop chasing these women. Get your money up and be a happy citizen in this world. All right? The whole world is changing right around us. And there's so many men in prison right now that shouldn't be there because they argued with a woman. Don't argue with nobody, man, woman, child. I don't argue no more. I walk away and I go to my peaceful house with nobody in there. I love it. It's priceless. Get your money up. Stop trying to be in these relationships. Period. Let me fast forward a little bit. Okay, hold up. It's over for him.
Who was wrong at first of all? He did well last time. I got under supervision in the community. I'm hoping that he can do it much better. All right. So I have his criminal history as my reason for denial, a lack of program participation, inadequate evidence of offender change, the injury impact to the victim and or the victim's family as my reasons for denial. For his conditions for first parole, I have domestic violence, no contact with the victim. I have also a halfway house. Just in case he needs it. He is self-sponsoring. We did get that. And a mental health evaluation, maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Anything else? Any other reasons for denial? No. All right.
So, Mr. Trivedy, we're ready with our official decision.
Denied.
With regard to Alan Trivedy, 156001, there's a motion to deny his request for discretionary parole based on his criminal history, the injury and impact to the victim and or the victim's family, his lack of program participation, and inadequate evidence of offender change. I further move to set Mr. Trivedy's special parole conditions as he has 6 years of special parole to follow his sentence, to which the following conditions will apply.
Yeah, you don't want to sit.
Actually, I want to also add a no consumption of alcohol. Yeah, that's fine. I just want the record to reflect that Mr. Trivedy has left the hearing room, and
I would have left a long time ago. As soon as her tone was, see, you guys are so tone deaf. You can feel somebody's tone. That was the point I was making about this video. This is for education purposes only, entertainment purposes. I just want to show how tone matters. She came in like a wrecking ball with that tone. Hear her tone? Listen.
also that he was very disrespectful when the victim's statement was being read. I will do that again as well. His conditions will be no consumption of an alcoholic beverage, a mental health evaluation, and treatment is deemed necessary.
And as soon as you argue with a woman, now it's mental health. His problem is he doesn't know how to work with women. You know, I would have went in there, how you guys doing today? Who am I speaking to? Oh, how you doing today? Hey, you know, all right, and let's get this started. He didn't even start off on the right foot. You know what I mean? You guys got to have some class with you when you're speaking to females. I mean, it's hard. There's no class on that. There's no class on class, if that makes any sense. Just be respectful to everybody, and you won't be sabotaged as much. Let's just say that. Because there's still people out there going to try to ruin you when you're a chosen one. All right, people? Let's stay focused. Let's stay single. Let's continue on the right path, guys. And again, stop putting your hands on women. Stop arguing with women. And just get your life together. Period. I'm gone, man.